welcome to Blossom Sandwich Sews. My name is Yvette and today I will be bringing you a roundup of all of the things I have sewn over the last couple of months. So I didn't do a monthly roundup for July because I only made one thing and I thought that's not much of a roundup. So I have mentioned this in one of my previous Friday sews, but I thought I could show you it again and talk to you about it in a bit more detail. So this was a project that I made for a blog post for the rag shop. So if you remember, in July there was a challenge from Charlene, So Dressmaking, and Jen Legg at Jen Legg Tees Creative called So Recreate the Look. So it was really inspiring to see all of the things that people made and what they were using as their inspiration. So some people use like a high fashion catwalk pieces, some people use like high street pieces or things from magazines, all sorts of different stuff. But I decided to do a little twist on it and recreate a dress that I had worn as a toddler. So that was quite funny to do. I'd seen these pictures that my mum had sent me of me as a 3-year-old, and I'm ready for the Easter bonnet parade. That's what the straw hat is about. So I thought I saw this fabric actually on the rag shop Instagram feed, and it reminded me of that dress. So I was like, maybe I'll give this a go. So this dress is kind of self-drafted. I hacked a lot of patterns together to make it, so it's not really self-drafted. I think there's a lot of, like a pattern, you don't just get the pattern, you also learn a lot about, the techniques and how to do stuff. So for example, this collar, I drafted the collar myself because I wanted it quite rounded, but I used the Nina Lee Bakerloo pattern as a starting point, and then I used the same method of finishing it with a bias binding and then, top stitching the bias binding down underneath the collar. So even though I didn't actually use the Bakerloo pattern piece for that, it was good as a starting point because I knew I wanted it not quite as big, because the Bakerloo comes over the shoulder and I have made a Bakerloo before. So I wanted it a bit smaller, a bit more rounded, but then I used the same construction technique. Then I also used the Norma sleeves, but I lengthened them and put this cuff on. So I interfaced the cuff so it's got a bit more structure. So that's again the same, where I didn't actually use the pattern piece because I changed it, but I used it as a starting point and hacked it. And then the bodice is sort of a bodice that I've hacked together from a few different things, like the Tilly and the Buttons Indigo, I think it might have originally started at, but then I changed the arm size to fit the Norma sleeves. And then this one I just added, I think, about 4 centimeters and then folded it over to create this button placket. And then, yeah, let me know what you think about these buttons, because I used these kind of cream buttons. They're like vintage ones that were my nan's. So originally I bought white buttons because that was what was on the original dress from when I was 3. But then I just didn't feel like the white ones really went with this fabric. I don't know whether it would be cuter to switch them for a button that's maybe more like this sort of peachy pink colour. What do you think? Let me know in the comments what you think about the buttons, whether you would keep them like as a feature or you would get them more blended in. And then the skirt is just a very gathered rectangle skirt. I can't remember what I did now. Maybe it was like just the full width of the fabric or twice the bodice. I can't remember now. It was one of those. And I've got side seam pockets as well. And then it's I hemmed it just above the knee. So originally I was thinking about making it like a midi length, and I had cut the skirt like that, but when I tried it on, it felt like just a lot, like too much fabric and too much of this print, and I just felt kind of frumpy. So I decided I would cut it off to the knee length, and that made it a lot cuter. So yeah, I'm pleased with that. This is this like a dead stock viscose crepe that I got from the rag shop. Yes, and then just hacked from lots of different patterns. So I'll put in some pictures of me wearing it. It's quite warm today, so I'm not gonna try everything on because I think I'll just get everything very sweaty. But there, I'll put in a link down in the description box to my blog post about it if you want any more info about the hacks that I did to this. So I haven't worn this out yet because it feels quite autumnal, even though I finished it in July with the colour scheme that's quite sort of brown and orangey. That feels very autumnal to me, and also with the long sleeves, and also just like a viscose crepe I find quite warm to wear sometimes. So I think I will get wear out of this when the weather starts cooling down, maybe with some like brown boots. It would be really cute. So that is the only thing that I made in July. I think in general my sewing is going to have to slow down quite a bit because I am back at work full time and I'm working from home. I can't work from home as much as well. So obviously a lot more time is taken up by commuting and working. So I won't be sewing as much anyway, but I'm okay with that. I think, you know, I'd rather spend more time on making things that I like rather than just trying to sort of rush out things in the sort of spare moments that I have. As a sort of sewist, my kind of sewing practice preference is to sew in little bits here and there anyway. I find if I have a whole day free, I won't be able to spend a whole day sewing because I just can't focus for that long. So I like to just do little bits here and there in the evenings when I can. So that's kind of how I did this dress. I kind of did it throughout a few weeks in July, just little bits here and there, and then it eventually kind of came together. So let me know how you like to sew, whether you like to do that as well, or whether you find that frustrating and you'd rather just sit down, do a whole thing and finish it and then move on. I'm also not a batch cutter, so I like to just cut a project, sew it, finish it, and then do the next one, because otherwise I feel like I'll end up with too many works in progress and the pile will grow and sort of stress me out. So now moving on to August, what I made in August. So I made a couple of things out of this fabric from Hey Sew Sister. So this fabric is called Juicy and is a exclusive fabric to Hey Sew Sister. So Georgie, who runs the shop, her sister did the artwork for this, and then it's a sort of red and peachy pink colour scheme. So I made a matching Reynolds top, which is what I'm wearing right now, and Petra shorts. So I've got on some denim shorts at the moment, so it's quite cute to mix and match. So I quite like the flexibility of separates. I haven't made any like jumpsuits or play suits yet. I kind of am put off the idea, one, for fitting, because I'm quite short, and I worry that the like proportions won't work out well for me. And also I drink a lot of water, so that means I need to go to the toilet a lot, and it's very annoying to have to like get fully undressed to go to the toilet. So I'm sure you didn't really want to know that, but that's why I'm a fan of separates rather than like jumpsuits, because I know that that's another thing that people are, divided on. People either love them or they're not a fan. So yeah, I made these Petra shorts. So this was kind of a trial of the pattern. So I did try the Petra before with this like grey viscose twill that I got from Minerva, but it just went so horrendously. Like honestly, everything I did was wrong. At one point I did it wrong, and then finished the whole side seam, but then I had to unpick all of the finishing. My fabric was just fraying so badly that I lost all my notches, and I just with the Petra, it's like there's like a pattern piece that's this front bit, there's a pattern piece that's the pocket, there's a piece that's like the side bit, and then there's a piece that's like the back. So I feel like on some trouser patterns it's kind of like you just have the front legs and the back legs, but where this has more pieces because of the way that this pocket is constructed, you just have a lot of sort of pieces that are like slightly skewed rectangles. So if you get confused, it can be difficult to know like which way up the pieces go or which piece is which. And then especially if you've got a fabric where you can't tell the right and wrong side, which was the case with my my viscose twill that I was using, because it was just grey on both sides, it was plain. I just felt like I just couldn't, oh my God, I just really lost track of what I was doing. But anyway, this one went much more successfully. And I did actually finish them. The construction of the elastic is quite weird. So you have like, you sort of do it inside out, and then you sew the elastic in like on the side seam, and then you kind of turn it back in the right way so that the like this bit flips back over the elastic. But it means that the elastic, because the elastic is sewn like this, and then when you flip it over, the elastic then curls back on itself. This whole situation is probably doing nothing for you, but you end up with a sort of bit of a bulk of elastic here in the corner. So because I use quite thick elastic as well, I think that probably made it worse. So then I just top stitched it down with this kind of zigzag stitch, so that one helps it stop from twisting, but also kind of holds down this elastic bulk a bit. But I think I might construct the elastic differently if I made this pattern again, because you kind of construct the front facing separately and then you do the back, so then the elastic's all contained within the back. But I think if I did it again, I might just have it so that the elastic is just coming through in underneath the front facing, rather than this whole turning it inside out situation, because the bulk of elastic is kind of annoying. But yeah, let me know if you've made the Petra shorts or trousers and what you think about the flipping over of the elastic thing. It's kind of hard to describe without showing you. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. So this fabric, it's not, it's like a sort of like a quilting weight cotton basically. It's not sheer, but it's like, I wouldn't wear it with dark underwear, because you can sort of, if something's dark underneath, you can kind of see it. Like, I don't really know. You can kind of see my rainbow overlocking a little bit through, because it's quite a light coloured fabric, I guess. So that's something to bear in mind if you are thinking about sewing with this fabric, depending on how comfortable you feel with stuff showing through. Like, I'm kind of fine to just wear pale underwear and not worry about it too much, but if you do worry about that kind of thing, you might want to consider lining or just using it for a top maybe. So then onto the matching top, I made the Helen's Closet Reynolds top. So it's quite cropped, so it comes and finishes just at my waist, and then it's got this like square neckline and straps. So on this is my first version of the Reynolds, and I've got like a little bit of excess kind of here. So what I'm thinking about doing is like pinching out a dart, like this one I'm just going to leave how it is because it's fine. But for my next one, what I'm thinking of doing on the paper pattern is like kind of figuring out how much excess I've got here, pinching that out as like a dart, and then trying to rotate it into the bust dart to get rid of that excess. So this sort of stuff, this kind of bagginess, is something that I quite often get because I think I'm quite short in the body, quite short in the back. So sometimes I will do a petite bodice adjustment that's like, you know, just cutting out a bit straight across here. But for this, I think the bust darts are like already in the right place. So I don't really want to take that out and then have to move the bust darts down. So I might just try and pinch out that excess into the existing dart to see if that helps. So I have already got some fabric that I think I might use for another version of this, and it's a leftover scrap. So if this adjustment turns out not to work, then it's not too much of a loss because it's just sort of leftover. So the fabric that I've got that I'm thinking of making another Reynolds matching set is some of this. So this is a viscose twill from Sew Me Sunshine that I bought a while ago in when it was on sale, and I used it to make these Helen's Closet Winslow culottes with the elasticated back hack. So I would highly recommend this pattern, especially with the elastic back hack, because they're super wide culottes, and with the elastic hack as well, there's basically no fitting required. So if you have watched previous videos of mine, you'll know that I've expressed my dubiousness of making trousers and bottoms because I'm not sure about the fitting. So if you're in the similar boat to me, then Helen's Closet Winslow's with elastic back is a good one to try. So it's got these pleats in the front. I don't know how well you'll be able to see because it's quite dark fabric. And then for the elastic hack, you just take the pleats out of the back and do a channel for the elastic. So you can either do elastic all the way around and take out all the pleats, or do what I did where you put interfacing in the front and no elastic, so that's just flat, and then you take out the pleats in the back, put in some elastic, and then all of the stuff that would be pleated in gets gathered in by the elastic instead, and they're super comfy. I've got inseam pockets as well, but there's a different hack on the Helen's Closet website as well where you can make like slanted pockets, which is a bit easier to get stuff in and out of. So I might try that at some point as well. Yeah, I just kind of didn't consider it when I was doing these ones, but I definitely make another pair of these. So these are full length, like all the way to the ground. But the pattern has like 4 views, so you can make like shorts or knee length or like mid calf or full length. So yeah, definitely we'll be making a few more of these. And then on the back, I did think about top stitching the elastic to stop it twisting over, but then my machine doesn't really like to do that. It gets a bit bunchy in the back, I think, because the elastic's quite thick to sew through, and then also with the pulling, because you have to pull the elastic taut, it just gets upset. So I decided in the end to just do a few vertical lines of stitching, just like every quarter along the waistband, just to like keep the elastic gathers even and stop it from twisting over, because that's like the most annoying thing, isn't it, when you're trying to pull your trousers up over your butt and then the whole thing kind of curls around and just is unpleasant. So yeah, these, I love these, worn them already quite a lot. I actually had to fish them out of the dirty laundry basket to show you them, so that's why they're a bit creased. But yeah, really pleased with these. I think with a matching top as well, that could be a really cute outfit, and then I have the mix and match potential as well. So then the only other thing that I made was kind of a scrap busting project, gone failure, gone secondary scrap busting project. So I did talk about this in one of my Friday sews, I think. So this is some leftover cotton lawn that I had from making my Norma dress. So I got this from the rag shop, and I had like just enough. If I did a seam up the centre back, I had just enough to make the Friday Pattern Company square neck top. So I tried that, but it just didn't, it wasn't meant to be that project. Yeah, I just really struggled with the facing. So it's got a square neck, and then you make the facing and try to top stitch it down. But I was really struggling with the getting it to top stitch down nicely. I found that it kept, like, the fabric kept rippling. I don't know whether it was because of like my feed dogs were pulling the like bottom fabric through too fast, and whether it would be better with a walking foot maybe, but I don't have a walking foot. So yeah, I tried unpicking it and doing it again, but because it's a cotton lawn, even though I was using a thinner needle, it was leaving holes in the fabric, and it just wasn't, I was just like, this isn't going to work out. But then I decided I would sew up the side seams anyway to check the fit, and the fit on it wasn't good anyway. So even if I'd done the facing perfectly, I would have still had to, like, I still wouldn't have been able to wear it basically, because I think it needs a petite bodice adjustment, which is something that I often do need anyway. So yeah, I just thought, well, I guess I don't feel so bad now that it's that it doesn't fit. So anyway, I just used the sort of front and the back, and I made as big as I could, like a drawstring bag. So I'm gonna use, and it's got like a square bottom as well. So I'll put in a link to the tutorial that I used for that. It's a made everyday YouTube tutorial. So yeah, I can use it for like gifts or something. It's quite a good sustainable gifting option rather than gift wrap, because obviously you can reuse them quite easily, and also it just adds a bit of extra something to a gift because it's got a handmade element to it as well. So yeah, I'm still going to count that as a project because I did actually still make something with it, but my square neck top just didn't happen, but I will come back to that at some point in the future. So that is everything that I've made over the last couple of months. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and let me know which projects you thought were your favourite. Yeah, I'd love to hear about what you've been making as well. I think I'm going to have to, I don't know, I'm a bit lacking in sojo right now because we're at September. Obviously the autumn is approaching, but the weather is still a bit weird. Like, is it sunny? Is it going to get cold now? Not really sure. So I think in my next video I might do my autumn winter sewing ideas / plans, and then later we can see how many of those I actually get around to making. But yeah, so I'm not really sure what I'm up to at the moment, but yeah, stay tuned to my channel and I'm sure you'll hear all about it. Thanks so much for watching, and if you've subscribed, I really do appreciate the support. Yeah, don't forget to like and leave a comment about what you enjoyed seeing, because I love interacting with you in the comments. Yeah, so happy sewing everyone, and I'll see you around. Bye!